Brother KB, can you hear me?
Good evening, I can hear you now.
All right. Oh, hold on a second. Something. Touching base. Turn off. All right. Morrison.
Good evening, sir. I'm
All
here,
right.
ready.
Awesome. Awesome. It's good to be with you all after a little hiatus.
I wonder who approved. I wonder who approved that.
I thought you did. I got your memo. It didn't come from you?
No, what didn't come from me? Maybe Kirby did.
But my friends, could be your
Audio.
I think your signal is kind of messed up.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I was saying welcome back to you.
Oh, okay, yeah, thank you. But it's breaking up. I don't know why. You're breaking up.
Okay, let me switch. I'll switch devices now.
Okay.
All right, are you able to hear me?
It's Morrison. How do you hear him? It's still.
Yeah, it's the same. Whatever.
It's
the
choppy.
same.
Choppy,
Yeah,
real choppy.
Uh-huh.
How about now, gentlemen? Are you able to hear me clearly?
Excellent.
Awesome.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, for some reason my iPad did not want to cooperate tonight.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, my friends. Let's start formally. Let me say a special good evening to all our listeners up in Dominica and overseas. I welcome you to another edition of Touching Base. I'm happy to be back. I was gone last week, Monday, but I did follow up on the program, and I want to thank my comrades publicly for a fantastic program. From all reports, it was a very good program, and we saw the viewership was off the roof. So thank you guys. I really appreciate it. And thank you, our listeners and our viewers. Thank you again for joining us. And I missed you, and I know you all missed me too. Tonight, and I welcome my brothers and friends, Morrison and Kirby. Our other co-host, Mr. Mills, could not make it tonight. He has some other engagement, and also Senior Counsel will not be able to join us tonight either. He has other engagements also. Oh, hold on a second. Yeah, so tonight we are going to have we're going for 2 hours from 8 till 10 o'clock, and we're going to discuss just a couple items. Let me also say good night to the Mann family up in Connecticut and to Mann's Audiovisual, who are our most reliable technical experts working behind the scenes to ensure we have a smooth and efficient program. So thank you guys. Yes, tonight we're just going to discuss the parliamentary some parts of the parliamentary proceedings today. We saw the government go into parliament to get an approval of a loan to run some power lines down to Fokule. So we'll discuss that. And we also will discuss another issue towards the end of our program. So I look forward to hearing from you guys. And also tonight, I want to open the lines to our callers, and they can call, or either if you're in the US, you can call directly to 813-748-0169. And if you if you call into for WhatsApp, you can call the very same number, 813-748-0169. So we invite you, sometime in the program later down to call and give your views on the program and any other topic that you want to discuss. So thank you, comrades, Mr. Morrison and Mr. Kirby. Let me allow you to introduce yourself to the people.
Okay, well, I'll allow Comrade Morrison to go first.
Oh, all right. Appreciate it, Kirby. Thank you so much. Well, thank you again, Donnie. Thank you for joining us this evening. We did miss you last Monday. We know had you been there, it would have been a stellar performance again with your additional, thoughts and inputs. We know that you have a different and always a vibrant point of view, and we surely missed it. This evening, I just want to just thank our listeners and just ask them to like and share our platform so that we can be distributed far and wide. And we just thank them and appreciate them for just always tuning in on Monday. Over to you, Mr. Kirby.
Thank you very much, Morrison, and thank you so much, Donnie, for your warm words of welcome. I want to echo Morrison's words in saying that we did miss you last week. However, I want to publicly thank Mr. Cleville Mills, who did a great job in your stead, who really was able to carry the torch. And it is important when we are able to always have that continuity, that level of continuity, no matter if you are here or not, or if someone is missing or not. It is important that we're still able to get the information out there. And so I want to say a special good night to all our many listeners throughout the diaspora and in Dominica. A special good night to all of the persons who will be watching this from my Facebook page and WhatsApp and statuses and so on. And we just want to welcome you to what promises to be an interesting, an engaging, and an informative discussion. And so we look forward to engaging each other and the public this evening. Thank you.
Okay. So thank you, comrades. Thank you very much. And also, let me echo Kirby's words. Let me say a special thank you to Mr. Mills for being, a wonderful host in my absence. Mr. Mills has been a most reliable partner, on all our programs. So I want to thank him, and let's wish him happy wedding anniversary. That's why he's off today. He's a special occasion for him. So we had no choice but to grant him leave of absence.
Reprieve.
Yes.
Hi. Well, congratulations. Happy anniversary, Mr. Mills.
Happy anniversary to you, Mills. Yes, wish you many, many, many more years with your lovely wife and family.
Yes. Yes. Now, I'm going to allow Kirby to take the lead on this, on the first discussion, the first item, because I'll be honest with you, I was very occupied today, and I caught Parliament, here and there, intermittently. So right. I will allow, when I came home this afternoon, I tried to catch up on it, but I didn't have time to listen to everything. So I'll allow you to take the lead on this, Kirby, and we'll join in where need be.
No problem at all. As you rightly said, thank you for that opportunity first and foremost, Donnie. And as you rightly said, today was the House of Assembly, and the government in that session or that sitting sought approval of the country's parliament to for some supplementary expenditure and relative to the geothermal project. There were many wonderful presentations by different individuals. I did not get to hear all of it, but I did catch the presentation of the Honorable Vince Henderson. I also caught the presentation of the Honorable Rayburn Blackmore. And finally, I was able to catch the presentation of the Honorable Prime Minister, who, in a very eloquent way, made the case as to why it was necessary for this supplementary expenditure, and also at the same time gave an update to the nation on the progress of geothermal and several other wonderful projects that are scheduled to come on stream.
It could be one minute, please. Excuse me, sorry. Let me just inform our listeners that we are live on Facebook, of course, our usual page, Derek Mann's page. We are also live on Touching Base YouTube page, and we are also live on VTJM Radio, which is available on TuneIn and also from the VTJM Radio link. Okay, so I wanted to make sure our listeners got that. Sorry, Kirby, you may proceed.
No problem at all. No problem at all. No problem at all. And in his presentation, one of the key things that the Honorable Prime Minister spoke to, which really resonated with me, and I think really resonated with the populace, he made a wonderful announcement that on the 25th of May, which is a Saturday, that we can expect there to be a groundbreaking ceremony for the long-awaited marina at Portsmouth. And I that stuck with me because in that delivery, the Prime Minister alluded to several of the many projects that we have been undertaken right now in Dominica. And one of the things that he really made a plea to young persons, young professionals in Dominica to take advantage of the many programs that the government have in place, the land at a highly concessionary rates, encouraging young persons to build, to build their homes, and to also, make provisions downstairs for Airbnb and so on. And so he alluded to that. He alluded to the international airport, which has been built. He alluded to the geothermal, which is fastly moving apace. He also alluded to the, as I mentioned, the fact that the marina will, once ground is broken, will start very soon. And one of the things that he made mention of that I found was very, very interesting. A lot of times persons tend to say, well, the only persons who are engaged in Dominica are the foreigners. The Prime Minister, in a very emphatic way today, signaled that much of the work that has been done on the different segments of the geothermal plan to date was done by local talent, and if not directly, but also in partnership with other partners. And he also, in winding up, alluded to or encourage persons with local companies, construction and otherwise, who have the expertise to be a part of any such project, to tender when the opportunity comes. And so it was all in all a very good meeting. That's just a snapshot of it. And so there are a lot of things happening in Dominica currently. We are poised for a lot of growth. And I think, the Dominica Labour Party is the party to do it, is the party to bring a lot of these projects to completion, to successful completion. And we look forward to the positive impacts that is going to have, or that they will all have on our economy.
Awesome. Thank you for that Kirby. Morrison, did you have time to catch some of Parliament today?
No, I absolutely did not. I was traveling. I only
Okay,
got back just in time.
okay.
Right.
To think, but I just want to follow up with just a last part that Kirby just mentioned when he talked about the Prime Minister having to comment on people basically referring to the fact that it's only foreigners that seem to be getting contracts, or the ones seem to be benefiting from all the projects built in Dominica. And that's something that just sticks in my craw because um, people, if you look back, I think 40s, 50s, 60s, Dominicans were traveling to build the Panama Canal. Dominicans were traveling to Curacao to work in the oil refineries, the Virgin Islands to work in the oil refineries. We know that all over Dominica, what sustained and built a huge middle class was our Dominican parents that went overseas, left their kids with either a grandmother, a grandparent, and went overseas and venture to help build a middle class in Dominica. And for people to turn around and complain that there are other people, I mean, where's the reciprocity that when we go over to other countries, like me being in the States and you and Donnie and all of us, we travel overseas, to seek more coin, whatever it may be. And I, for once, never encounter somebody telling me go back to my home where you come from, or where only 45 that was talking nonsense. But it always galls me that people say, well, foreigners are doing this and foreigners are not taking it. In any country, in any economy, there's always foreigners that always contribute to the development of an economy in thing. After World War II, they were taking West Indians to England to rebuild England. We even had that fire. When that fire happened, was that Windfall? I forgot the name, and burnt out all.
Windrush.
Windrush. It was because of all these Caribbean West Indian people that were taken up and transported via the Geese boat up to England to help rebuild England, and in turn, England never gave them that permanency and allowed them to live as Britons in England. So that fire basically exposed a lot of people that were still undocumented, still didn't have that anchor in Britain. So when I hear people talk about this thing about foreigners taking advantage and always giving it's a sort of selfishness, and I detest that, like, totally. That's something that I'm just not a fan of.
Yeah.
Right.
But
if oh, go ahead, Donnie, go ahead.
yeah, just to very good points by both you and Morrison. And Morrison, not only is this notion, this behavior by some, really backward thinking, but also it is not even true. Like could be said, the Prime Minister tell you the number of Dominicans who are engaged at the geothermal project, right?
Yeah.
We had Mr. Samuel Johnson, the CEO of the airport project, told you how many Dominicans are employed at the airport project. You know, so when you hear them on the radio talking like Dominicans don't get job, that is not the truth. That's not the fact. And this is the way they conduct themselves. They cannot tell the truth. They misinform the public, and all they're doing it with an intent of trying to stop discord.
Yeah.
That's what they're doing it. But it's not the truth. A lot of Dominicans are engaged, making good monies too, getting paid very, very well on both those projects. So I just wanted to say that. Go ahead, Kirby. I'm sorry.
Thank you, Donnie. And if I could just add to what Morrison was saying, this was one of the other things that the Prime Minister also alluded to. He said that as these projects are going to happen, he made a clarion call for Dominicans in the diaspora to come back home, to be engaged. In fact, he paused his presentation to recognize a gentleman by the name of Mr. Fred John, who I believe is the CEO, or he's in charge, one of the persons in charge of the geothermal project. Hope I got his name correct. He had him stand. And he also alluded to Mr. Samuel Johnson, who we had on the program not too long ago. You know, basically saying that, you know, these are Dominicans who were able to go overseas and get expertise and come back to Dominica and make a contribution. And so one of the things that he ended by doing was encouraging Dominicans who are overseas and who are able to come back and make a contribution to do so. And he did also give a clear warning. You know, we were talking about foreigners and Dominicans going overseas and what they would say. He actually said, you know, he can't tell foreigners not to come into Dominica. And he actually said, we welcome them into Dominica. Those were his exact words. But the onus lies on us Dominicans to, you know, position ourselves to benefit from the many projects, the many projects that will drive our economy into a successful future. And so I thought that was a very wonderful and clarion call by the Prime Minister. And we have no problems with Dominicans who go overseas, like Morrison say, for their coin or to gain expertise. If you're able to go overseas and gain expertise and return home and make a meaningful contribution to the development of Dominica, that is what we want. And the Prime Minister said as much, you know, and so the whole message I got from the last part of his presentation was there are opportunities in Dominica and there are opportunities that are on the horizon in Dominica. And we should, as Dominicans, position ourselves to benefit from those opportunities. And when persons come in from overseas, do not shun them and say, well, you're a foreigner, what you're doing here. Embrace them, you know, learn from them, but also as Dominicans, step forward, right? Be prepared to take a leadership role in what is effectively ours and what is going to benefit every single village. And just the final thing I'll say, I did not say before, he also alluded to the fact that we can, in the not too distant future, expect a new and modern port in Canefield. All right, he actually said that. And so these are all things that we look forward to coming to fruition, and all things that I know that this government is capable of delivering on. And we look forward to the transformative agenda that the government has so eloquently put forward.
And could we give me 1 second, Don?
Go ahead.
To just build on what you said, Kirby, about encouraging overseas Dominicans to come home and to contribute. I remember once upon a time we spoke about brain drain, but that's no longer a thing. I mean, Dominica internet infrastructure is a robust infrastructure. So the government and Dominicans overseas can participate without necessarily having to travel to Dominica. You know, we have the technology out there that people can interact and be in a project, the geothermal project, the airport project, any project being in Dominica, and can contribute via Zoom, FaceTime, Microsoft Teams, whatever access that you have, without necessarily having to go to Dominica. Because when we spoke about brain drain before, we talk about that vacuum left by Dominicans who left, went overseas and never returned. But now we have the opportunity to tap into that. We can tap into these experts out in wherever they are in the world, and, you know, grab their expertise, grab their resources. If I'm not mistaken, we had a big sale from, was it Secret Bay? Was it Secret Bay?
Secret Bay.
Yeah, the gentleman sold a piece of property here for, you know, a fantastic sum.
Millions.
Because that person was so secure when they did the research, when they did the deep dive into Dominica, they found out that they could invest in Dominica and not necessarily have to be where they you know, on the mainland, wherever they are, and still do their work, function, and do everything, living in a foreign country and make a contribution. So it's the reverse. It's vice versa. We as Dominicans can take an opportunity or take a page from that and not miss the beat and have all Dominicans, you know, making a significant contributions in building that dynamic Dominica.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. And you know, as I'm listening to you guys, you know, making this great points, and you know, really chastising the, you know, the really backward conduct of some of our Dominicans, and who really don't seem to understand the world, you know, the world that we are in today. It's a global village, and like you said rightly, Morrison, you know, you can work from anywhere in the world.
Anywhere in the
world. Anywhere. You know, there are many Dominicans who are employed in Dominica who work for foreign companies, and vice versa.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So I mean, this is the reality of today. And I mean, this nonsensical notion about you know, foreigners and taking over is really nonsensical. But also, as we proceed in this program,
yeah,
we will make the contrast by these very same people, the contrasting behavior by these very same people, right? And show you the kind of people who they embrace. Okay, the kind of foreigners who they embrace. Foreigners who come to Dominica to make a meaningful contribution to our country, to help build our country. They are hostile towards them, right? But then we will show you the type of foreigners that they defend vociferously, embrace, and they embrace them, okay, and defend them. We'll tell the people, we'll show the people the contrast, you know, in the behavior, you know. Also, talking about, you know, this loan and the purpose of this loan, right? And we have to remember the Prime Minister's promise of making Dominica the first climate resilient country in the world, right? And this is all part of the process, right? And I listened to Honorable Vince Henderson today, you know, give a very expert contribution, because that is his field of expertise, geothermal. And he was saying, he was explaining the cost of the project, you know, and telling us why it is important, because the project is being done in a resilient way. All right, the lines are going to be underground versus overhead, like we are used to. All right, now this is all part in keeping with our geothermal, if our resilient agenda. All right, and the lessons that we've learned from Hurricane Maria, you know, and the vision of the Prime Minister, you know, his determination to ensure that if we are faced with such another storm, that we can withstand it. We can come out of it much better than we did in 2017, right? Because 2017 we were through. We're decimated, right? And it would be foolish to rebuild the country in the same way it was before. All right, you call lessons learned. All right, and this is what this government has done. And like the Prime Minister rightly said, we have made the word resilient a household name, a trademark name, right? And it's because of the approach, because of the government's performance after Hurricane Maria, right? And this is something that we are all guilty of it. Do not give them enough credit for that, you know.
Indeed.
So I was very pleased today with you know what I heard today. I didn't hear everybody, but what I heard today, it is consistent, and it aligns with the Prime Minister and the government's policy and the government's agenda to rebuild this country in a resilient fashion. And it tells you that this government is serious about its commitment to make Dominica the first climate resilient country in the world.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed. You know, Donnie, it's almost so amazing that you would have gone there to speak about Dominica's efforts in climate resilience, because I think when you think about from 2017 to now, such a stellar job has been done by the government in this regard. And I'm not just blowing hot air. In fact, today I posted or I shared a post that the Honorable Denise Charles Pemberton would have shared on her page of the progress made at the housing scheme in her constituency. And I don't know if the Mann brothers could just grab that picture from my page and put it up. But that housing scheme made me beam with pride. You talking about it's near completion, or you're probably completed.
Yeah.
Fully resilient. It looks amazing. I had persons commenting and asking me, well, where is this? Are these available for sale? And all sorts of things. And I had to say, no, these are homes that the government would have built for persons in need. You know, and I think not enough. Well, we know that the government is, and primarily Prime Minister Skerrit is never one to toot his own horn or sing his praises. But one just has to admit the sheer visionary nature of the Honorable Prime Minister. So in the darkest of hours, when persons were the most afraid, most frightened, most unsure of the future, to boldly go and stand at the UN and say that Dominica is going to go on a path of climate resilience. And while Eden is broken, we are going to build back. And so the housing scheme in the Point Michelle constituency is just so, or Scott's Head, I can't remember where exactly it is. I think it's Scott's Head. It is just a testament to that excellence that has become synonymous with this government. And so really and truly, as you look around Dominica and you see all of these different housing projects that are done, that are in various stages of completion, one can only remember where we were just a few years ago and look at where we are now, progressing very well under the leadership of the Dominica Labour Party government. Donnie, we're not hearing you.
Your mic's off.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Uh-huh.
We have the proof.
Yes.
I challenge anybody, any doubting Thomas, right? If you think we blew in hot air, look around the Caribbean. There are many, well, not many, but there are some examples, right, of government housing ongoing in our neighboring Caribbean islands, in Barbados,
In Grenada.
in Grenada,
They
in
sell it
Antigua,
Mhm.
right, in St. Kitts, and look around and compare. And some of them are for sale.
Yes.
Right?
In Grenada, they sell them.
Yeah.
In Grenada, they don't give them free. It's
Right.
sold.
And compare them to what Dominicans are getting.
Yep.
It is nowhere close in quality, in beauty, in resilience. Yeah, you go.
There you go, Cubs. It works. I can see it.
Man, so isn't that a sight to behold?
That's
beautiful.
a transforming.
It's beautiful, brother man.
To behold.
Right?
That's tangible.
Yeah.
It's there.
It's beautiful. And we must let them people know the zinc roof you see there, the nice colorful zinc roof, is just for aesthetics.
Yeah.
Right? The roof is actually concrete.
Yeah.
But they put the zinc just for for beauty. Right?
Right.
All the lines are buried underground. All this housing is underground.
Nice.
All of them.
Yep.
Okay. And like I was saying, what you see in other islands being sold to people cannot compare to this at all. At all. right? So we have to give due where due is deserved.
Yes.
Right? I don't care if you do not support this government, right? But you cannot tell me that somebody receiving that home that cost $250,000, right, is not a fantastic thing,
Indeed.
right? And this is being carried out across the island,
Indeed.
in Grand
So
Bay,
many places.
in Roseau, in Lapland, in Casablanca, in Portsmouth, in Scottsdale, all across the island. You know, and you I mean, it is, I don't even understand how it's being done myself, right? In this small country we have called Dominica, you know, and it's exciting, and I'm very, very happy. And I know many recipients of this housing project, project, right? And some of them, my friend, I couldn't be happier for them, you know,
Indeed.
because
Indeed.
it was, you know, a gift, a blessing,
Yes.
knowing where they came from. I know
Yes.
some of them,
Yeah.
Yes.
you know. So
You know Derek from town. I'm sorry for calling
yes,
his
sir.
name.
Yes, sir. Yes,
When I
sir.
saw Derek getting his keys, a tear came out of my
Yeah,
eyes. I was so happy for him.
you're the only one. You're the only one.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I mean, how can you honestly say that is not a good thing, right?
Exactly.
Imagine the impact it has on this man's life.
Yes.
Imagine, he's proud. It lifts his morale, his dignity.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So, you
So
know,
many others too.
many. We talk about hundreds,
Yeah.
hundreds of people and families being blessed, right? And like we say, the government doesn't have to do it,
No.
right? But it's only because of the heart and the love of the Prime Minister and his cabinet, you know, because we like he just said today, people say the country broke, right? But you just saw the picture. You just saw the picture.
Man, if
That is
this is what
ongoing
we're doing,
construction.
yes, and if this is what we're doing as a country that's broke, then we say all praise be to God, eh?
Right? Yes, indeed.
All praise be to God. I am sorry, I cannot. I tell you, I cannot stop looking. This thing transformed the entire landscape, you know. Total transformative. It just transformed the entire landscape as it's near completion. I mean, phenomenal.
Yep.
Phenomenal. And you
So-
know, we should be thankful, and we should be very happy. The only thing I would hasten to say, Donnie, before I allow you to continue, is we must say to the people who will inevitably receive these homes to take care of them, to take care of the neighborhoods. The neighborhoods that Dominicans have never been people that are afraid to work hard. Dominicans have never been people that are afraid to make a journée when needed.
Right.
You have been blessed with such a wonderful, with wonderful communities, new communities, brand spanking new buildings. Keep your surroundings clean. Plant your flowers. You know, plant your these things to show your appreciation and maintain it and take care of it for generations to come. You know, we are very thankful for the help that all of these people would have gotten, and so many more are scheduled to get.
Yeah.
And you know, just one other thing, Donnie. Let's not forget, and this is something that the Prime Minister also alluded to today, that these homes were built for persons who are needy and less fortunate. There are opportunities right now, for young professionals in Dominica to get land at Cotton Hill, at Warner,
Yes.
at
Jimmy.
help me with the other names. I forget the other names right now.
Jimmy.
Several places, yes, Jimit, and several other places where these lands will have been made available at highly concessionary rates through the Ministry of Housing.
Yeah.
And so, if that is not empowering your people, I don't know what is.
I don't know either. Yeah, Morrissey, you were saying something before.
Yeah, I wanted to join you guys on the last contribution you guys are making and talking about I mean, giving due where due is deserved. And
Mhm,
as you rightly says, Prime Minister Skerrit really deserves the credit, and no amount of name calling that they can do. I just admires the man tenacity and his
mhm,
strong mental toughness. No matter how much names they call him, that does not deter him from the vision that he has. Any government that spends money on its people is a
mhm.
government that cares. Okay?
Indeed.
Look at the homes, as Donnie says, and Grenada, and I know for sure Grenada, they're selling. Barbados is the same. These people haven't gotten their homes for 1 year yet. The
Mm,
quality is not the same. The size
mm,
is not the same. Okay?
mm,
These people are complaining already about the homes that they got from they purchased, not for there's a middleman in that, not directly from the government, but some middleman that's a. I mean, look at all the stuff that's going on, and people are discussing semantics when it comes to title owner and all the shenanigans going on. If I have a
mhm,
roof over my head, a $300,000 roof over my house, you think that is going to be my most concern when I'm coming from wherever I'm coming? I would go down on my knees and be thankful. And I think that's the envy of the people that complaining is the people that have left and realized the opportunity that they have lost or they've left behind. And that people in Dominica now own a tangible piece of property and are better off than most of them are.
mhm,
So people, there's that envy aspect to it, you know.
mhm,
So there's all sort of machinations and all sort of name callings and stuff like that. But I will say, and I will continue to say, a government that spends money on people, and people can split hairs on that because it's
mhm,
tangible. You can see it. Look at Kirby. Look at what we're showing tonight. That's
mhm,
spending money and not asking people to go into their pockets
mhm,
and to spend. And for this man to just day in and day out, like it's water off a duck's back and just keep forging on, you know, I look at his mental fortitude and toughness and see that this is a brother that really has the genetic, has the DNA from our ancestors who were brought over here as enslaved people.
mhm,
So let's to work for the colonialists. These colonialists were able to build economically and to build other countries economically off the back of the people through enslavement. Yeah?
mhm,
These are the people that they didn't give them directions and a map and a blueprint to do things. They left it up to them. They whipped them when they couldn't deliver. So these were the people that had to find some way to build products, to build goods and services so that they could get the whip off their back. And all Massa was doing was just bundling and shipping back to England and selling for a profit. Roosevelt's carrot comes from this DNA, and Roosevelt's carrot is building on what our ancestors should have been benefiting from. So we now see that in time to come, in generations to come, not my generation, but could be my kids' generation, that the Dominica that I left is not the same Dominica 50 years from now. And I've got
mhm,
to congratulate Prime Minister Skerrit for his tenacity in
indeed.
standing up to these naysayers, calling him
Mhm,
names, and there's proof, there's tangible proof in front of our eyes. He goes to
mhm,
Parliament to ask for money. The same thing that they do in the United States. What they call it, the debt ceiling. It's the
mhm,
same thing. It's the same debt ceiling that Marjorie Taylor Greene and all these, and Speaker Johnson and all of them going back and forth. It's the same thing in Dominica. So if you can understand the argument and the discussion in Congress about the debt ceiling, this is what happened
mhm,
in our parliament this morning. Okay? So when it comes to our own, all we do is we cannibalize each other. Okay? That's what we do. So instead of congratulating and supporting this young man with his vision, we look, there are those of us who name call him and call him sort of all sorts of stuff to sort of kind of try to derail him from the vision that he has. You don't see white folks doing that to each other. You don't see white people doing that. They don't complain and they don't talk about what they do to each other. They support each other and they promote each other. We look at hip hop. What is hip hop? A bunch of denigration, misogyny, murder. That's what we promoted. Killing each other. You don't see these white folks. They're promoting gospel, country and western music, rock, or whatever it is. They're not fighting and shooting anybody. But with us, we like to cannibalize each other because that's what Master do. Set us up. Plant that seed of envy in us. That's what he left us with. Plant that seed of envy so that anytime somebody does something, somebody who looks like us does something, it's like, nah, he's not capable of doing that. It's until he gets an endorsement from somebody who is white. Then there's some credibility to that. And I say that's nonsense. And I'll support Roosevelt Skerritt for the vision that he has for Dominica. You already said, free me up, free me up. So free up the man, let him build on his vision for building a dynamic Dominic.
Indeed.
Yeah, but Morrison, to build on your point. Sorry about that. Build on your point. We are building our first ever international airport in Dominica, and it is being built without any loans. Okay, no loans. It is being built from monies of our CBI program. The housing development, the housing project across the island is being built from our own CBI monies. The health centers from our own CBI money. Schools, right? Now remember, after Hurricane Maria, like the Prime Minister said today, we get promises from all kinds of countries. They pledge they're going to help us. All right? And to draw down on these monies is like pulling teeth. Right? In the meantime, another year has gone. And we are in another hurricane season. Right? Being threatened by more storms. And monies cannot draw down yet. Remember, there was a promise made by, was it Brazil? Somebody made some monies for us for the Margaret Hospital.
Mexico.
Mexico.
We said it together.
Right? And it was taking so much time to get the money. The PM said, you know what? We'll go ahead and build it from our CBI money. Right? We have been threatened every single year. And a year come by very, very quickly. You know that soon we'll be in June.
Yes.
Next month will be in June.
Yes, sir.
All right. And this government and this Prime Minister have been able to raise monies and to manage monies and to spend monies targeting the most vulnerable and the most important areas of our country.
Indeed.
All right. Remember, after Hurricane Maria, we had over $300 million saved in the bank. Large and shesh, money. Money's being saved for the airport. Money's being saved to pay off our external debt. And thank God we had that money. Because that's how in the face of the impossible, we were able to rise back so quickly because we had money saved for a rainy day.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Dominica was a land of debris, rubble, mud, everything after Maria. No roads, nothing. And very, very quickly, we were able to clear the roads, right? We were able to procure food from neighboring countries because we had the resources. Simply because we had a responsible and a smart leader and a government that made good decisions in the interest of Dominica. Okay? Just imagine Dominica was at the same fiscal situation that Workers' Party left it in 2000 and during Hurricane Maria, after Hurricane Maria. Imagine that. Where would we be? Where would we be? And there's a saying that God help those who help themselves.
Yeah.
Right? And even as a poor developing country, even if you're limited resources and your small population, you have to be able to help yourself.
Indeed.
You got to. And that is what this government has shown. They've shown they have the ability to lead and to make smart decisions that when we are faced with serious challenges, and God knows Hurricane Maria was a challenge that I don't think any country has faced in the Caribbean in the past 100 years. Okay?
And Donnie, not to cut you off, but don't forget to mention, I mean, you're making a valid point there. You're making a great point there about the savings and having the money for rainy days. COVID, a lot of people, a lot of senior people in government were pissed off at the amount of money that the Prime Minister was spending on the prevention of COVID and keeping Dominicans safe.
Yes.
He had the money to do it.
And asking for stimulus.
Okay. While COVID was decimating other countries, Dominica, with all the carelessness that was going around, we were able to suppress COVID through the efforts of the government and the money that he spent on COVID. These people were so mad because they wanted that money. That money should have gone towards stimulus and not helping, people recover or prevent people from getting COVID.
The Prime Minister asked a very important question. He said, what is the point of giving you a stimulus if I can't keep you alive? What's the point?
People
okay, $500 stimulus if I cannot keep you alive.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The government's job is to make sure the citizens are safe. Right? And if we had the cooperation of the opposition, right, who would talk to the people, who would support the vaccine, who would encourage them to be responsible, we could have gone through COVID without any deaths.
Without any deaths, absolutely.
Right? Because people don't want to talk about it. But the fact is, and we can go back to the archives, these guys were spreading anti-vaccine messages on the radio every single day. Right? Don't take scary vaccine.
Yeah.
They all
don't take scary vaccine. Right? Oh, one of them who was a former senator said, I take it for my personal reasons, but don't take it. But it has, you take it. You took the vaccine.
Why you take
it? What? But there's no but. If you took it, you should tell people to take it too because you know why you took it.
Yeah.
You know why you took it. To protect yourself. And if you're a leader, imagine you're a leader and you can take the vaccine I tell people, well, I took it for my personal reasons, but what? Right? And then the other one, the current president of the party, talking about, we'll have 17,000 infected, 9,000 deaths in Dominica.
Doom and gloom, spreading doom and gloom.
Man.
Doom and gloom, yes, sir.
Right? And we were one of the last countries in the world to have death of COVID.
Yes.
We were one of the last one, maybe the last in the Caribbean for sure, but in the world, we were one of the last ones to have a death. Right? We were the first to get vaccines, the first to get what do you call it?
PPEs? What are we talking about?
Not PPEs, not PPEs. The oxygen. How you call it?
Oh, I know what you mean. The masks.
Yeah. What is it, Morrison?
The PPP?
Not the PPE. The oxygen machine.
Yeah, I know what you mean, but the name.
The tubulation machine.
Yeah. Yes.
The one that they would put
incubators, or what they call it, something like that.
Right. Okay.
Right. We got all those things first. Right. We were the first country, I think, to do in-country testing for COVID. In-country, we didn't have to send our samples overseas. We tested in Dominica. And these measures saved a lot of lives, right? And do you know what they were saying on the other side? When every day the dashboard came out and they were showing the number of deaths from other countries, and Dominica said 0, because there was a list of all the countries. Remember that daily dashboard?
Mm-hmm.
On that website, they had a list of all the countries showing the daily death rate.
Mm-hmm.
And for a long time, Dominica stood at 0. 0, and you see America is on hundreds of thousands, and how many over there in the Caribbean, and Dominica stood at 0 for a very, very long time. And then they will say, oh, the doctors are lying, the hospital is lying, people are dying and they're hiding it. That's what these people said.
That's what they were saying. Yeah.
Right? They went on an attack against Dr. Ahmed.
Yeah.
A man who's been in Dominica for so long, you didn't even know he was there, because he went about his job.
Right.
Every day doing his job. During COVID, they went after the man. They called the health minister Mackin liar.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the behavior of these people, man.
They even said he was dead once upon a time, but he died from COVID. Remember?
Yeah.
Donnie, let me tell you something, my brother, and that's probably going to be a whole other show, separate and apart, right? But you see all what you're saying there? It brought to mind something that I received. It was yesterday or today. A certain gentleman, I won't even give him the satisfaction of calling his name, wrote some letter to the embassy.
Oh, yes.
Embassy, and this talking about the Chinese and the undue influence in Dominica. A man that was one of the first on the plane to go to China, and taking picture. Like I said, that's a whole other show. But I mentioned that because that ties into what you were saying about the general doom and gloom and so on that was being spread at that time. Even now, there are still persons who are seeking to, after all, let me tell you something. No one can say, I don't think anyone can categorically say that in 2004, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, when the Honorable Roosevelt Skerritt, in his wisdom, decided to establish diplomatic relations with the People's Republic of China. I don't think anyone can in a fair way say that has not been one of the most beneficial relationships since the existence of Dominica as an independent island state. One of the most beneficial bilateral relationships. All right. There are people who are seeking to say all kinds of things about China, but let me tell you, China has been a true friend to Dominica, and has been and continues to be a true friend to Dominica. And, you know, there are people who are with you in friendship only when it benefits them, right? So there are people who claim to be your friend, but they're only there for you when they can get a good time. Not the People's Republic of China. And so I listen with great disgust when I hear persons seek to try to cast aspersions or cast negativity about these honorable gentlemen who have been a true friend to Dominica over the last 20 years. This is a relationship that is this year 20 years old. And as a nation, we are so much better off for it. You know, and so when I hear a man who, like I said, was one of the first to run on the plane to go China, take pictures, all on Great Wall, all on thing with his shirt open and all kind of thing, and then you're there talking nonsense about sending letter to U.S. Embassy, and that is something. I wonder sometimes about these fellas. These guys seem to forget that Dominica is a sovereign island, a sovereign country, who is able to make and establish relations with any country it sees fit. And you are running to anyhow. Like I said, that's a whole other show, Johnny, and I don't Donnie, and I don't want to get into that. So we'll leave that there. It's just the ludicrousy of it all, you know, and the wickedness of it all, you know, that you would come and seek to peddle these types of untruths, seeking to gain some kind of relevance, because you ain't been relevant. People almost forget who you are, right? And coming now saying you're writing a letter to U.S. Embassy, like they're going to come and spank their child, Dominica. Another show. That's a whole other.
To add to that, was it under Barack Obama's administration that they'd come into the Caribbean with $11 million and Xi Jinping walked in with $1 billion? You know,
and exactly, I remember that
11 million to share among how many countries, you know?
Yeah, and Xi Jinping just walking with $1 billion.
Listen, I don't want anyone to get the impression that we do not value the partnership of the United States to Dominica and to CARICOM and to the Caribbean Islands. We value them as an important partner, right? And we certainly always look for ways as a country, and I'm sure as a region, to partner more with the US, who has done so much for so many Dominicans who are resident there. But where I have a distinct problem and a serious problem is when persons come and seek to try to make it seem like, okay, I am going to write the USA to come and spank you because you're doing.
Yep.
Yeah, you know, that is really what it is. So we thank them and we continue to thank them. But at the same time, we also say thank you to China, who has been a true friend to Dominica.
But my friend, like you said it rightly. Dominica is a sovereign country.
Yes.
Okay? And despite us being a tiny island, right? Despite us only having 65, 70,000 people, right? We are an independent-minded, strong, cultural, historical people.
Indeed.
Right? We have pride. Okay? We have pride in our country and our history and our background. Right? We have pride in what we have achieved. in a few years since independence, right? And we are proud that we've had some great leaders who have led the charge in taking us to a position where Dominica has emerged as a country envied by others, right? We have had great leaders, and currently we have the greatest leader that Dominica has ever seen.
Indeed.
Right? So when people, you know, tend to make you believe that Dominica is just a country where any foreigner can just come down and talk down to and disrespect, and because you are small compared to the US, that, you know, any US citizen can come to your country and do whatever they want, right? And should not be held accountable by our laws, by our law enforcement. And this we're going to segue into that in a little while, right? But, you know, many of us have that pride and patriotism, and who will always be proud of our country, Dominica.
Indeed.
Right?
Till I draw last breath.
Dominica made you who you are, Morrison and Kirby and me.
Indeed.
Right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
The lesson that we were taught, or bringing by our elders, by our fathers and our parents and our grandparents and our community, who taught you to walk the right track. We had a sense of love and help and cooperation. That's our country. That's our country. And when we were proud of people who excelled, even as small as we were, like Irving Shillingford and Norbert Phillip and Chris Shillingford, who make West Indies cricket team, you know, and Charlie and Exile One and Gramax and Ophelia. And today we have Shelley and Esa Banton and we have incredible talent, and Triple K, and, you know, we have great talent in Dominica. When we have some smart people too, we have some brilliant minds in our country too.
Yep, absolutely.
Dr. Carissa Etienne.
Blessed memory.
Right? Erin LaRocque. Swinburne Lestrade. Mamu. I mean, Dr. Liverpool. You know, we have some great minds. This is a blessed country.
I think we have a distinguished lawyer in The Hague, Henry. Some Henry. I think the Henrys from Maho.
Oh yeah.
There's a Henry out in the World Court in The Hague.
Yeah.
I mean, they're Dominicans all over the world. You know, just
doing great things.
Great things, and I'm proud of them.
Yes, somebody just came to mind and I forgot. As you talk about district lawyer, there's somebody who just came to mind and I forgot. You know, but we are a blessed land, brother man.
Right? Was it Baroness Scotland?
Baroness Scotland. I was thinking about Baroness Scotland.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, why can't you love your country? If you don't love your country, who country are you going to love?
You're going to love. And it was so proud seeing her next to the king, the coronation of the
yes, sir.
The colonizer has a Dominican standing next to him on the night of his coronation. Can you imagine that, brothers?
A black woman.
And I'm going to talk nonsense about that. Come on, man. I'm going to be proud.
You know, I mean,
Kirby, you know, so I'll be proud. I'd be gleaming from, you know, ear to ear. Look at Kirby, look at Don. You know, representing Dominica.
Yeah, and then we have Prime Minister Rivers Security. Everywhere he goes, people adore him. People respect him greatly.
Yes.
And they see his works. That's why the whole world echoed this phrase, resilience, after Hurricane Maria.
Indeed.
And Pastor Augustine predicted that. He prophesied that. He said, when other countries will need advice on how to deal with disasters, they will come to you. And he was right.
Indeed.
He was right. That was prophecy.
Indeed.
You know? So, brother man, you know, I am one. I will never, ever stop, ever rest on this quest to promote my country.
Indeed.
And to show to the mountaintops that Dominica is the best place on earth.
Indeed.
It's the best. I don't care about no big country, land, vast land and bright lights and, you know, brother man, when you go to Dominica, you're just happy. You just breathe that air and you're just happy. I used to tell my family that was my metaphor for when I went on vacation. You know, when I came home, when I landed in Dominica, when the plane touched down and they opened that aircraft door, it's like I heard clink, 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 the iron gate just opened and I was free. See, that's I used to say all the time. And when I had to go back, and I was very, very sad. Always sad to leave.
You're not alone.
When I get in the plane, they close that door. It's like I hear clack, clack, clack.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's how I used to describe it to my family. I hear clack, 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 and I hear the big chains and the lock back to jail. That's how I felt.
You're absolutely right.
Because Dominica is just a wonderful place. But we're gonna go into our other topic for the next 45 minutes. And let me Kojak, if you can hear us, VTJM radio, I wanted to play this little news clipping, news item, I think from the Turks and Caicos Islands. And then we will discuss it in relative to, you know, Dominica and what has gone on there with similar situations. So Kojak, if you can hear me, I invite you now to play that audio so the audience could to hear, and we could discuss it after you're done. So you need to unmute your mic, Kojak. Okay, let me see if I get Kojak.
It's playing, Donnie. Donnie, it's playing. It's playing.
Trip had all of his like emergency equipment. He's a paramedic. Tyler Scott Wendlick's wife says authorities found 2 bullets in his suitcase at a security checkpoint while he was on vacation there. He now sits in jail trying to raise bail money.
Very low.
No, you heard it from my audio here, but it's playing.
Arrested within months of each other after they both say they accidentally left ammo in their luggage from previous hunting trips. After posting bail, they're now sharing an Airbnb as they wait for their court dates. The penalty for this crime.
It's not playing over our Zoom, but it's playing on Zoom.
According to the Turks and Caicos government, 8 American tourists have been arrested since firearm and ammunition laws were tightened in 2022. The State Department warning American travelers.
In a foreign country, U.S. citizens are subject to the country's laws.
65% of Turks and Caicos' economy is based on tourism, the majority of visitors from the U.S. For Wenrick, Habrick, and Watson, what should have been a dream vacation, now a living nightmare.
Every matter and aspect of our life has just been completely flipped upside down.
Priya Sridhar, NBC News. Vacation, now a living nightmare.
Every matter and aspect of our life has just been completely flipped upside down.
Priya Sridhar, NBC News.
All right. I don't know if the listeners could hear it. I heard some of it. Didn't hear the start. And then I guess you were playing it, and then it was being played by Coda. So there was like a double play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think
However, just to summarize what we heard, two Americans, they were highlighting these two men went to the Turks and Caicos Islands, and not together, different incidents, and there was some ammunition, some bullets found in the luggage. Okay. Upon arriving at the country, the customs searched the luggage and they found some bullets. And they were arrested, right? And they both sit in jail right now, right? They explain that it was inadvertently left in their suitcase. They both hunt in the US, the hunters. They have ammunition, and it was left in the suitcases. But they were arrested, go to jail, and they sit in jail awaiting the trial. Now, the reason I bring this up is this is the law of the Turks and Caicos. Okay? They have very strict laws when it comes to weapons and ammunition. Right? And these Americans, however it happened, found themselves violating the law, and they were held accountable. Right? And there's interview of them, and the guys are saying they're hoping for the best outcome, and of course they get a lawyer and all that. But you didn't hear them talking about calling my congressman or calling my this and be going to ask them to sanction the Turks and Caicos, right? They broke the law.
Yes.
Whether it was willful or not, but they broke the law. Right? And I want to compare the situation to Jason Grog. Right? And if what these guys are saying, which is very plausible, right? Very plausible. They could have forgotten the thing in the bag, and but this Jason Grog, who came to Dominica under the pretext of being a missionary, brought a container down to Dominica, was allowed to take the container from the port to his home, as the practice, sealed, and the customer had to go to his home to inspect the custom. And they found weapons and ammunition in that container. Right? Weapons and ammunition in the container. And when you go for the customs, you have to declare what is in your container. And that was never declared. So of course the customer arrested him. charged him. The police arrested him and charged him. And we have some people in Dominica who have taken up his case, who have bashed the police, who have bashed the customs, who given a platform on the radio, talk to his family, his mother, his wife, and everybody on 25, bashing the government, bashing Roosevelt's spirit, I don't know why,
Hmm.
and encouraging this man, Jason Grog, to take some action, to speak to some powerful people in America, to take some action against Dominica. You know? And I'm asking myself, how can you call yourself a Dominican? And this Jason Grog is not, he's very brazen. No apology. As a matter of fact, he was deported from Dominica, and he's on Facebook making videos saying he's gonna come back to Dominica.
How?
Yeah, he's gonna come back to Dominica. He got a new passport, and he's coming back to Dominica. Because Dominica is some juju country then.
Listen.
Yeah.
My
So comrades,
brother-
go ahead, Kobe, go ahead.
I'm sorry, if you don't laugh, you'll cry, right? It just goes to show you that this man clearly is not altogether present in his mind, okay? And he's clearly not altogether present in his thoughts. And this is the type of persons that certain individuals are given a voice in Dominica. There's a fundamental difference between what happened with Jason Grog and what happened with the four gentlemen. There were four of them. I just read the story again in the Turks and Caicos, totally unrelated, who happened to have come with a bag that had ammo in it. As somebody who has been around guns in a legal way, right, I can tell you, you have to be very responsible when you're dealing with ammunition, when you're dealing with your firearm and these kind of things.
Absolutely.
From that, like I said, mistakes happen. In the case of Jason Grog, it was not a case where there was a bag that was missing, and that is what I want, that had those things.
Right.
This man packed his container and sent it down to Dominica.
Yes.
And I read somewhere that he was saying, or they were saying when he was called that, oh, he had planned to apply for a license and whatever, and he had not got around to it. The foolishness behind that statement, right? So you basically imported a firearm illegally into Dominica,
Yes.
right? Then talking garbage about you had planned to apply for firearm license and you just hadn't gotten around to it yet, and all of that foolishness, right? This gentleman is he's in the comfort of his own mind. Let me put it that way. In the comfort of his own mind, right? And he is playing and putting all these scenarios in his own mind. Once you are deported from a country, right? And once you are deported from Dominica, we can probably find out from the legal minds what that is. But if it's the same as other countries, you can't just go back and get another passport and fly back in. That is utter ridiculousness. And you see, this ties back into what I was saying to you before about persons who literally like to jump on any which train. Once it is a case where you can denigrate or you can say something bad about Dominica,
yeah,
you will jump on this train and give them all the ear and all the hearing in the world and make Dominica out to be so bad. And you love Dominica? Utter hogwash, foolishness. A man imported a gun and ammo into our peaceful land, right? He basically brought it in illegally, like others have done, and gotten charged and went to jail and had to get bail and all of that. So it wasn't just him. And the person seeking to make it as though he's some victim. Rubbish. Total rubbish. And one of the things that I'm very glad about, I'll end with this so Morrison can give his 2 cents on this. One of the things that I'm so very glad about right? You notice that the government made no remarks about this foolishness.
Mhm.
Nobody went back and say, well, they're addressing this
Mhm.
or whatever, because it did not deserve to be addressed in any way, shape, or form by any levels of our government, right? The DPP spoke to the gentleman being deported. He was determined to be persona non grata, and he was placed on a flight back to his homeland. And nobody could tell Dominica, no state, no country, that because this man is from the United States, he can write congressman from now until December. Any mad person can write a congressman, you know. Any mad lunatic can write a congressman. Okay? And so, as I said, I'll end with that. I'm just happy that the government gave this or dealt with this in the contempt, with the contempt that they deserve, and didn't even seek to address that foolishness and this idiot fellow.
Thank you, Kirby. Very passionate. Go ahead, Morrison.
Yes, yes, Donnie, as you said, compare and contrast. So my observation is look at the tourist men. I mean, they were contrite. Could have been a mistake, you know, your excitement in packing to travel, you know, vacation time, you know, a little R&R. You know, you forgot that you'd gone hunting in the same equipment or the same luggage that you used. You know, it was there. It could have been innocent. Nobody talked about, well, I'm going to call my congressman, I'm going to call the State Department or anything. These guys were contrite. You know, they were scared, you know, because the minimum we're talking about over a decade, years in prison for a bullet that, you know, like, oh my God, I totally forgot about it. And look where I am. You know, thought I was going to, you know, white sea, you know, white sandy beach, clear crystal blue waters, snorkeling, scuba diving, and all that good stuff. And here am I sitting in jail. Compare that to an emboldened individual supported by a political party. His emboldenedness is because of a political party behind him. If he did not have a political party behind him, he would have been contrite like the others guy. I don't care who he is. I
got to clap for you, boy. I got to clap. That's the point of the night.
Yes.
You're right.
Yes.
That is what he is. And these are the type of individual. He was so emboldened that he was part, you know, it was as if, you know, a little, I'm forgetting the word that I'm looking for. It was like a favor. He got involved in an incitement. Okay? And immediately the government says, well, we've had enough of you guys. Enough of you. Out you go. Again? And what does that political party do? Or handlers of that political party do? Encourage him to continue smearing Dominica, interviewing him on a radio, you know, propagating his Facebook pages and stuff like that. I mean, this is ludicrous.
Let me ask a question. Hold your thought. Let me ask a question to you both. How do you describe that this man deported from Dominica, deported, left, you're in persona non grata, go back to your country. And while he's deported from his country, a talk show in Dominica is calling him in the United States to instigate problems and asking him, what are you going to do about it? Are you going to let it go just like that? How do you describe such person? Go ahead.
Donnie, let me answer you. And you know how I'm going to answer you? I always say people, there's always talk and have all of these bright ideas until it lands on their doorstep. God forbid, Donnie, and you are a former military man, God forbid that the roles were reversed and I left this country with my firearm en route to Dominica and went to the United States, landed in Miami with my firearm in my bag. Right, just saying. God forbid that I made that error, you know, in my rush to do that. think would have happened to me in America. But more so and more importantly, when the same radio hosts and them hear about it,
Good
you think they would
question.
be calling me to give me a platform to proclaim my innocence and say it's a mistake?
I know what they
No,
would say. I know what they would say, brother man.
boy. That's that's a labor boy there. This
Yeah.
how they unruly, this how they unlawly. And that shows you the hypocrisy,
Yeah.
the hypocrisy of it all. And that is how I'll answer
Yeah.
that question.
But I love your answer. I love your answer. Go ahead, Morrison. I love that answer.
Comrades, let's drill into it some more. They celebrated when the former minister, recently, the former minister, huh?
Boy, Morrison, I'll for you again.
The former minister, okay? They forget.
But
license firearm holder.
Yes.
They wanted to hang him.
And guess what? And guess what? Guess what?
Yes.
The former minister
Yes.
was very sorry. He apologized at the court and paid the fine. Very contrite.
Okay.
Yeah. That wasn't enough. They wanted to roast him over the coals.
Boy, these people.
You telling me? Man.
And you know what that tells me, guys? For some, not for all Dominicans, but for some, Massa Day not done.
You're right.
For some, Massa Day is not over. Okay? Because Morrison could not have come up with a more eloquent example. You are right, Donnie. The former government minister was contrite. Immediately at the first opportunity he
pled guilty.
Yeah, I'm apologized to the court.
Apologized.
But they support an American mercenary.
And you hear supporting an American
who is rude and condescending.
Out of order.
Out of order.
The former minister, a licensed firearm holder, but yet still, he was in contravention of the law. He imported without an import license. This man come from where he come from, right? Articles, because I read articles about him in the United States, says he ran from the United States because he was an anti-vaxxer and he was against the vaccine. So he ran and came to Dominica to be in nature and all that. Was welcomed with open arms in Dominica. Come in, import a gun, right? Get himself in all kind of mix-up in Dominica. Get deported, and you want to give this man an audience. You want to give this man, make this man out to be the victim. But at the same time, a former government minister who made an error, okay, right? The gentleman apologized to the court, took his fine, paid his fine, right, and so on. And you on his back, like a tic-tac, but you want to listen, grog, a platform.
My brother, that to me, that to me is treachery. Right? You are a traitor, right? You cannot be reaching out to a man who have no respect for your country.
None.
No respect for the law and authority of your land. And even when he goes back to his home, he's in Louisiana, is he? Wherever is he?
Indiana, I think they say.
Indiana.
Yeah.
You at your home. What you want in Dominica? And you have this guy calling the man overseas. And asking him, you coming back? Sounding all excited. Because he coming back to Dominica.
But also Donnie too and Kirby also emboldening him. He's so emboldened. He wants to join. I don't know if he wants to join the other 7 Americans. So the 7 Americans and himself, they're gonna join together and they're gonna come after the government. They're gonna get, attorneys, congressmen,
no,
everybody. And you have the cohort, you have his co-conspirators saying, look at him, yeah. I'm like,
tell them to come and try another bayou of pigs. Because you said, Morrison, you said the word of the statement of the night.
Yes.
The only reason he's so emboldened because he has a whole political party behind him.
He's
Yep.
empowered.
Empowered.
And to even strengthen your point, do you know the planned march protest they had on the Bayfront when they were organizing and discussing and planning their violence? He was in the chat group.
Yep. Inside,
Uh,
pack him up and
They
say,
added him in the chat group.
Yep.
Yes. I think I saw that.
He was in the chat group with those people. I mean, what kind of Dominicans? How they call themselves Dominicans, bro?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
They added into the chat group when they were discussing getting tires and buying gas from this gas station and burning. This man was in the chat group with them.
Master Day, alive and well.
Yeah. We have some people who have never been freed
Mentally.
from slavery. Never.
Quickly, but mentally still Uncle Tom's.
No chains on their feet, no chains on their hand, but they're not free.
Hmm.
They're not free. You know, and these are people of low self-esteem and low self-worth. Because you're making this man believe he's better than you. He can come to your own country and disrespect your country. He's better than you because he's white and because he's American. He's better than you. Who are you? Who are you to tell me what to do? I'm an American from Indiana. Well, not so say from it. I know the accent. I always say from American from Indiana or some shit like that. You know, I mean, and those guys don't understand. They don't understand how disgusting they look doing that. They don't understand that.
You have no problem.
They have no awareness of, you know, brother man, you're like an Uncle Tom.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Bashing the police. The police is wrong. The custom is wrong. The government is wrong.
Wrong.
Unbelievable. You know, you land in the airport, you land in a foreign country, and you just want to waltz in. What if that was just a trial run? Huh?
Exactly.
What if this was a trial run.
Exactly.
Huh? And then you come back and say, "Oh, I was coming back with 15 planes." Really? Of course you're gonna come back with 15 planes because it was so easy to do. You know? But these people don't think of that. They're happy because they're like, "Oh yeah, these are the guys that, you know, they come and help us out." But you know, man, it's you know, it's
guys, as I said to you all before, the mere fact I saw that that post that the gentleman did, and he was so happy that he went with his form. And yes, he's showing a form, you know, the form that you fill out to go and get a new passport. I mean, everybody know that. We have Dominicans who my own daughter is a US citizen, so you know the form. Yeah, but you filling out the form means what exactly? It doesn't mean you're going to automatically come back to Dominica. It means nothing. It means that you fill out a form. And so it makes me wonder, as I said before, you know, if this man is altogether present and accounted for, right? He cannot be altogether present without foolishness. And we reject that foolishness. We reject persons who would seek to try to give this man a voice in Dominica, because as far as I'm concerned, he has no voice. He has already been deemed persona non grata. And the only way that this man can come back into Dominica is if he tries to sneak in on a fishing boat. And it is my hope that every single right-thinking Dominican, the second that they would see him on our shores, would report him straight to the police and the immigration so that they can do what they need to do with him.
Yes. Hey, comrades, Kojak from VTJM, he has a comment, question, some something to say. So Kojak, unmute your mic and you may proceed with your comment. Kojak, can you hear me? Okay. Morrison, go ahead until he comes on. You muted, Morrison. You're muted.
He's on the air. I can hear him, but we can't hear him on our Zoom. So
He's on the radio?
yeah, he's you know,
Is he-
he's responding, but he
he's
needs
not-
to unmute his mic. So
I can't hear him.
yeah,
His mic is muted. I can see his mic muted.
unmute his mic. So
Mic is on
mute.
His mic is muted. I can see his mic.
So
Okay, give me a second, man. Give me a second.
His mic is muted. I can see his mic.
Give me a second. Give me a second. Yo, can you hear me, guys?
Yes, we can.
Loud and clear, Kojak.
All right. Good evening, gentlemen. Good evening.
Good evening.
I think it's like maybe question slash statement, and I'm not really into the politics in Dominica, but I've been listening to both sides, and I can see where the disconnect is. But my question is though, I'm like this guy say like bash Dominica so much, and I'm so concerned. Is like if you let's suppose in this guy's getting power today or tomorrow, what they gonna tell the outside will leave all this negative. I mean, I'm not going by what people say because I listen to Q95, I listen to sometimes it's broadcast on my station. And I say the reason why I'm not really into politics because I knew something was always wrong when I was growing up. In school you do an exam, and when you get something wrong, they put an X by it, and when you're right, they put a check mark. I never understand why you have to put an X by a politician name. So, to say tomorrow, this guy's getting what are they gonna say to the outside world that you're bashing Dominica so much? What gonna be the counter attack that they get into power? What they gonna say? Because I mean, it's like the world is here, and you bro. Social media, look at my station. I have people in Germany all over listening, right?
Mm.
And you have all these negative things to say about your country. Then when you get in power, I would like to know what they're gonna do to correct that. Because I mean, no politician lasts forever. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the Labour Party, because for some reason they're not gonna always be there. I just want to know, let's suppose they get in power tomorrow, what they're going to tell the outside world if all the negative things you're saying, discouraging people from coming to Dominica. I would like to know how they're going to get them back into Dominica. That's my question.
Well, Kojak, that's an excellent question.
That's
an
a
excellent
million.
question. And I really wish that the people who are doing this would ask themselves that question.
Mm-hmm.
But you see, for them, that is not a concern because Dominica and Dominica's welfare and well-being is not a concern. The primary and sole objective is to get rid of Roosevelt Iscariot, right? And from 2005, going on 20 years, the avenue that gives them the ability to do that have failed, and that is at the ballot box, right? That's at the ballot box. They have been unsuccessful, woefully unsuccessful, trying to get rid of him at the ballot box. So they decide, well, if I cannot get, the rat, I'll burn the whole house down. That's a saying that they'll burn a house to kill a rat. You see, and that is a very good question you're asking. But that is the selfishness of these people. They only see trying to get somewhere, and they do not appreciate and understand the route, the journey it takes to get there. And that's the problem. And that's my take on it. Morrison and Kirby can chime in.
You know, what I will say to Kojak, my brother, is this. Your question could not have been more eloquently placed. And it is a question that I have heard come up in the House of Assembly many, many times, sometimes by our own Honorable Prime Minister and sometimes by others. You know, why do certain persons, you know, bash the government, you bash Dominica, and then you want to come and say to Dominicans, the same Dominicans that you bash it, vote for me because I can bring change. And sometimes you wonder and you ask yourself, could this be one of the reasons why you know, a certain political entity has been relegated to the you know, to the opposition and to the outdoors for so long? Because instead of saying, vote for me because this is what I would do to develop Dominica, or this is what I would do differently from the current administration, you are saying, man, this administration is no good, this country is no good, the country finish. You know how many times certain persons like to say Dominica finish, and that is always the foolishness that you hear. And you wonder, so I really want to compliment our brother for the question, because by God, how you want to convince me to vote for you, and this is what you are saying. And persons seem to not get it. I don't know what Morrison's thought on it is, but they seem to not get it. And so Kojak is extremely right in his question. You know, they bash and bash and bash and then say vote for me. But clearly that doesn't work.
Sani, that's a good question, and I don't think you're the only one who you know who has that thought. I have that thought daily every time I hear this, because it's just so much heavy lifting when you have to try and correct that ill. Because if you go out there and you bash somebody, it's a lot of heavy lifting to clear that up. So when you at the helm, it's not an easy task. It's not something like, oh, I'm there now and then, hey, you know, the slate is wiped clean, or you know, it's a new Dominica, so everything starts anew. I always equate it to just you know, me personal, asking friends or anybody, give me 10 good qualities about myself and 10 bad qualities about myself, and they can only mention probably maybe 3, but in lickety split, they would be able to give me 10 bad things about a character. And it's the same in terms of Dominica. So you're gonna have you see how much heavy lifting you're gonna have to incur just to clear up that name? Because you're bashing for 24 years or how many years. You're not gonna clean that up as so easily, you know? Because by the time you come to talking about good about Dominica, you can't go past 3 because you've been bashing all this time. You ain't going to talk about international airport coming. You ain't talking about infrastructure and hotel. You already bash it already. You know, you call it copper mining, you money laundering, you know, and we know the list goes on. So rightfully, Sami, what would they do at the helm of that, of the government, were they to come into power tomorrow? A lot of heavy lifting. God forbid. And then they will turn around and blame somebody else for their own doing.
You know, Morrison, if I might just add a piece to what you just said there, a very short piece. You ever see in US politics, you know, and even in mature politics around the world, whenever an election occurs, whenever an election happens, the party that wins and even the party that loses graciously would say, you know, let us consolidate. and let us now come together as whatever the country, let's say Dominica, as Dominicans, as Americans, to work towards the building of thing. Why do I bring that up? When you as a entity, as a party would have spent the better part of 20 something years, 24 years, basically, never doing that. Each and every cycle saying the election was stolen, dead people voting, and all these things. There has never once been a message of seeking to bring together the populace, seeking to unite the populace and say, well, okay, we lost. Let us work together now to build our country. Let us hold their feet to the fire. Ask the tough questions in opposition. Let us ensure that the Public Accounts Committee is one that works and works for the people and by the people. You've never heard that. And so if by some stroke of some miracle, tomorrow you're to win an election, how, pray tell, do you go about unwinding the 24 years or 25 years of negative energy that you're spewed? Not about, in some cases, not even about the government, you know. I want you to realize and recognize something. In a lot of it has been about Dominica, you know.
Yep. Yes.
You heard what I said a while ago? It's the Dominica finish, Dominica this, Dominica that.
Yeah.
And you ask yourself and you listen to these things and you say, "But hold up. This is the same Dominica that you want to lead?"
Yeah.
Must be another one.
Hey,
Must be.
comrades, let me quickly shout out our viewers on Facebook.
Please do.
Very loyal, loving viewers, supporters. Marvelyn Brady, Karen V. Henry, Ron Carbon, Francis Hilton, Renick Thomas, Snapper Laurent, Cassandra Benjamin, Brenda Alexander, Margaret Etienne Sorrendo, Lincoln Durand, Lauren Benoit, Kenrick Laroque, Ambrose Thomas, Arlene Minadman, Clement Rowe. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for being with us tonight. And as you always do on a Monday night, we're very happy that you can join us. And I also, I invite anybody who wants to call. You can call at 813, before we close down, we can take a few phone calls. 813-748-0169. If you're in the US, you can call directly. If you're in Dominica or in the Caribbean, wherever it may be, you can call on WhatsApp. 813-748-0169. I invite you to call and make a contribution if you want to do so. Thank you.
Yes.
But going back to Kojak's question, man, that's an excellent question. And Prime Minister Gaston Brown put it very, 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 very smartly and appropriately. He said they want to burn down the country to rule over the ashes. That's what they want to do. And it just shows you, right, that these people really are not truly and genuinely interested in Dominica.
That's true.
They're not.
That's true.
Right? They are obsessed with the idea of power. Power. Because remember when February 7, 2017, when the fires were being lit in Roseau, Linton at the time was the party's leader. He came and was taking pictures of the fire and glorifying it, enjoyed it. And then when he was asked by Matt Pelletier, what next? He said, until the people see Prime Minister Rudolph Scary step down or demit office, That will continue. That was his wish, to see fire burning Roseau until Dominica was destroyed. You know what I mean? Standing there in admiration, taking photos and videos of the fire burning Roseau, right? And people who invested their money to open their stores in Dominica, the Prime Minister's wife, was it Flo or Digisa, one of them, the Muslim store,
Yeah.
you know, vandalized, broken into. One was set on fire, the Pee-wee ice cream place. And guess what? All of them were labor rights. They were all Labor Party affiliated people. Targeted. And then you have the nerve to come and say, well, it wasn't our people. You know, and the most asinine thing, oh, you know what? Liberals did it to blame us. I mean, brother man, this guy is taking this for a big joke. Running a country is not a joke.
Not at all.
It's not a joke.
Serious business.
It's not a gamble. It's not a casino. You know, you are dealing with people's lives currently today and for future generations to come. That is what we look for in leadership. People who have the vision and the commitment to build a nation, to make sure even after they leave, that they leave it better than they met it. Not to destroy it.
Destroy it. Yep.
Not to destroy it. And like you all said so very, very aptly, it's not only the physical destruction, but its image across the internet and social media that could do irreparable damage to your country.
Yep.
Because you know, in this age, it takes a second for something to go viral, global.
Yeah.
Right? And that's how people do their research.
Yep.
When they go to Dominica, they go on the internet and they go and look for reviews and what are people saying. And when they see that you're saying, oh, people die in Dominica like flies, just drop and die, they're not gonna go there. Oh, they go, man, the police is this and the police is a police state and all kind of dictatorship.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. You have a radio station every single day saying what you want, calling the same man criminal and thief every day, but he's a dictator. Every single day, attacking him every day on the radio. But in the same breath, he's a dictator. Where can you do that in a dictatorship? Where? Which one? Tell me.
Not in Kim
Russia?
Jong, not in Kim Jong-un's North Korea.
You not in Russia?
Nope.
I mean, come on, guys.
You know.
Donnie, you said something that's so key that I don't even want us to let it slip by, you know. You alluded to all of these persons who were mostly affiliated with or perceived to be affiliated with the Dominican Labour Party, who were affected as a result of the fires and so on in Roseau.
Yeah.
From those things. Now, I want you for a minute to just forget your political affiliation. Brief minute, right? Imagine that you were one of those businessmen who probably would have just stocked up, bought your stock, who probably would have just paid your staff, who probably just refurbished your building.
Yes.
Your building then get destroyed as a result. People talk about holding grudges all the time, eh? And I've said to many people why and how I became a member of the Dominican Labour Party, and their friends will say, boy, that's a grudge and whatever, whatever happened, whatever with your family and whatever. But no, think or picture that you were one of those persons, right? Be it 1 year from the date of that happening, 2 years from the date of that happening, or 20 years from the date of that happening. If any one of those persons who allegedly instigated or allegedly were a part of it or caused it come in front of your door and say, we are seeking to build a new dispensation in Dominica, vote for me, what do you think would be there? And
You
so it's out of a rhetorical question. I don't even need you to answer it for me. But people who have sense will just sit down and think about it and,
Yeah.
and let it seep through your mind.
Yep.
I do not care if it is 5 years from now, if it is 3 years from now. These people are never going to forget that. And quite possibly, even their employees may never forget it. Their employees who very well may not even have the same political dispensation that the owners have. Because guess what? As a result of that, that was 1 week I had to go away. I couldn't buy food for my children because my boss business got damaged. So I couldn't work because he couldn't open. So I couldn't get a salary. You
Yep.
see, and you wonder and ask yourself, do people ever count the costs when they do things or when they say things or when they instigate things? Frankly, I that is a question for them to answer for
Good.
themselves. Because as long as I'll tell you this much, and I'll end with this, as long as there's a continuation of persons with the same old rhetoric and pushing the same old nonsense, it will just come and keep being a stage where persons just have this continual disgust for you rather than any spirit or any sort of endearment. And so you'll come back and you'll say, well, don't vote for Roosevelt Skerrit because he have dimples or because he look good or whatever the case may be. No, people vote for that man and continue to vote for that man because he genuinely cares and he's genuinely a good leader. And they can never say, while they may not agree with everything that he does, but they can never say that his decisions are not made with the pure best interests of Dominica in mind. And so, food for thought for those who have yet to hear.
Yes. Well,
Excellent.
gentlemen, we have come to the end. I don't know. We didn't get any phone calls, so I guess people were so intrigued and they rather listened than called. So we're very thankful for that. So I want to thank you all. Let me let you say your parting words before I wrap up. So Morrison or Kirby, whichever going to go first. Thank you very much for being on tonight, and I really appreciate you joining me and having this very good, constructive discussion, which I'm sure our listeners, appreciate it. So let's say our good nights and say that to all people.
Donnie, for me, I just want to say thank you for the opportunity to engage with you and with our brother Morrison and Kojak. I want to say thank you to the Mann brothers for doing such a phenomenal job with assisting us with bringing the message across to persons. And at the end of the day, we just want to say thank you to the many Dominicans who listen to us every week on this program and who take the time and tune in. And you are the reason why we do this. And without you, there would be no show. And so thank you for the opportunity, Donnie, and for being here. And I wish you and Morrison a truly wonderful night, and all of our many listeners and friends a wonderful night rest.
Thank you, Brother Kubi. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kirby. Thank you. Well, I want to join the sentiments of Brother Kirby. Exactly what Kirby said, ditto on my side. And really want to thank the viewers, for coming in and embracing our little community. We hope that we can grow it into a larger community where we can come in and discuss real issues and really drill down and really tear apart, thinkings and how we can elevate ourselves. And I mean, Kirby made an excellent point, towards the end there when he talked about the reason people might have doubt in supporting a party. That is so fundamental, that people talk about all the shenanigans and not think of the effects of their words and their actions. Because if you took away, and rightly said, I think the Pee-wee, for example, this police officer, to my knowledge, I heard, has never built back. So whoever was employed in there and whatever investment this man is getting, you think that there's a little bit of tarnish in this man's heart or his employees? I mean, to your point, Kirby, times 10, times 20. It's nothing about a dictatorship. It's nothing about tyranny. It's your actions and your inactions that will be your doom and your gloom. So this is the type of contributions we make when we come here on Touching Base, reaching out to our brothers and sisters who can basically sit down, listen. We thank them for their time. They could have been doing something else, but we're glad that they continue to join us so that they in turn will lead us share and continue contributing and continue discussing this online, And I wish everyone a great rest of the evening. Thank you for joining us this evening.
Thank you, my brother Morrison. Thank you very, very much. And again, let me thank you and Kirby for joining me tonight. I really enjoyed the discussion. You both brought tremendous value to the program, tremendous insight, and I always appreciate you coming on. I want to say a special thank you to Kojak, my friend and cousin, Fix Troy Augustus, and his radio station VTJM for streaming our program tonight, across the globe. Thank you very much. Let me say thank you to the Mann brothers, Derek and David, Mann's Audiovisual, for your great, tremendous expertise and your commitment to this program and helping us put out a quality product every time. Thank you. Let me say good night to your families in Connecticut again. Let me say good night to all our listeners and viewers on Facebook, on YouTube, listeners on VTGM Radio. Thank you very much for joining us. We really appreciate you, and we look forward to being with you again next week, Monday, on another Touching Base program where we could discuss matters of national importance. Have a wonderful evening, and God bless you all. Thank you very much. Peace.